Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make DIY wall art using watercolor and ink. I'll be going through all the supplies in my video. In the description box below I'll have a link to all of those supplies as well as a link to my blog. You can head over there to get more details about this DIY wall art as well as the other pictures I'm going to be showing in the thumbnail. So head over there if you'd like more information about all three pictures that I show. Today I'm going to be showing you specifically how to create the green one in my picture. So head over there if you'd like more information. And then also if you do like this video, if this is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to this channel as well as giving this video a thumbs up. Alright, let's get started. We're going to be mixing together a couple different colors of green for our backwash. So we're going to do a wash of green, and then once it dries, we're going to do an ink drawing over it. So it's going to be a green color. So I'm going to get some sage green from my palette over here. And then I'm just going to put it right on top here. I had a little pink in there, and I don't mind. It might give it an interesting color. So this is going to be one color. We're going to do two. So I have this one. I'm going to make this one very dark. So to get a dark wash, all you have to do is add more paint than water. So I like that. And then I'm actually going to mix in right here with some pink. This will just give it a different shade. It'll make it a little bit more of a darker color. You can see how it's working there. And I want this to be more of a light wash, just to give it some contrast. So I have more water than paint in there. So all I did was use sage green. This one, the middle one, is just completely sage green. And then this one is sage green with a little bit of pink that I put in there. All right, and so just grab your brush, and we are just gonna make two random blob shapes. So we're just gonna do this. You can copy me, you can do whatever it is you want to do with this, because it is not gonna it's not gonna look the same for everybody, just because it's all gonna dry differently. And all right, so that's my first blob of color. And then I'm gonna rinse my brush out, dab off any extra water. Then I'm gonna go into my darker mixture, and I'm just going to go in like this, and I want them to bleed together like that. Just like this. And then what I'm going to do, I'm rinsing my brush completely off, and I'm letting it be loaded up with water, and I am going to dab in drops of water randomly. I just did 3, and then by the time it dries, it is going to make such a cool I think they call it cauliflower effect. It's going to bloom and blossom, and it's just going to make really cool texture and give it really unique. I did one like this, and I absolutely hated it when it was wet, and then when it dried, it looked so cool. And so it'll be fun to come back and see how this looks, and then we will put our ink drawing on top once it is completely dry. Now that our painting is completely dry, you'll be able to see the marks that it made with adding our different waters in different areas. If for some reason you don't like how your final wash turned out, you can go over it again with the same colors or with different colors to give it a different texture. But now that it is dry, we are going to go ahead and we are going to do our ink sketch on top of it. I have already practiced mine on a separate sheet of paper, and so you can just follow along with me as we do it. I am going to do it in pencil first. I'm using a mechanical pencil. And then once I have that, I will go in with ink. I'm going to go very lightly over it just in case I do want to erase. It is harder to erase off of watercolor, but it isn't impossible. If you have pencil marks under watercolor, then it's impossible to erase. All right, so we're just going to start. I'm going to start right here. And then I'm going to curve down, and I want my stem to come off the green. So start in the center about 1/4 down from the top and just do a curve like that. It does not have to look identical to mine. Do whatever it is you like. I'm going to do 3 leaves on the top, just one little one right there, and a little one off to the side, and then another little one off to the side. I'm going to come down just a little bit. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to do one off to the side, one toward my left side but more up, and then one again on the left side. Then I'm going to come down to this curve. I'm going to do a big leaf. It's going to get really small toward the end. I'm going to come barely down and do another leaf right underneath it. And I'm going to come really far down and do a really big leaf. And then I'm just a little bit farther down and another big leaf. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a waterproof ink pen. I love using these just in case for some reason after I use my ink pen I see a mistake and I want to come back in with watercolor. If you're completely satisfied and you don't want to worry about coming back in with more water and paint, then don't worry about it. Just use whatever ink pen you have. I will be using a waterproof ink pen just in case. And all we're going to do is we're going to very carefully go over our pencil lines. I'm going to add a stem in the middle of each of my leaves. I'm going to connect the stem as I go down. I'm going very carefully. I am using more of a heavy pressure. I'm not worrying about being too light. I want this to be pretty bold. I'm going to flip it around just so my ink doesn't smear. And remember, it's okay if your lines aren't perfectly straight. Remember, leaves and flowers aren't perfect. If you were to go out and pick up a leaf or pick up a flower, nothing is going to be perfect and identical to this other stem, other petal, other leaf shape. So don't feel like it has to be perfect. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm flipping it over just so my ink doesn't